Hi, my name is Dennis Feidner, and I'm with CFO on the go, Chief Financial Officer on the go. We work with about 1,500 construction clients, and we kind of try and help them make more money, which is, I'm sure, why you're watching this video, is you'd like to make a little bit more next year too. So here's some reports that I think you really need to look at as you grow your company and as you manage your company. I'm showing you them in Sage 100, but if you're using QuickBooks, Peachtree, or anything else, you can do these in Excel. It's going to take you a little extra effort, but I think you need to be looking at these things. And so I'm going to start out looking at the GC side first, and then we'll move over to the reports I think a subcontractor should use. So what this is, and I'm going to pull this job up real quick here, it's called a committed cost report. And what you're going to look at is a report here that has a bunch of columns on it, but typically what you're probably looking at today is your items of work by job, your budget plus approved change orders, that's your cost budget, and then how much you spent to date. And then you just probably have a column that subtracts a 2 that tells you what the difference is. So I'm going to look at line 2200 here. So in your system today, you're probably seeing a budget of 1,600. You look at this number and you say, hey, I spent 1,100. I like round numbers, by the way, if you can't tell. And you say, hey, I'm in pretty good shape. The problem is somebody in your building or in your office or in the field just created a subcontract for a subcontractor to complete that item of work for $1,100. And so right now you're going home thinking that you're about $500 favorable, but when that bill comes in from the vendor, you're going to be $590 upside down on that item. So what happens is as you're going through the job, you're looking at this and comparing this, say, hey, you know what, I missed my budget by about $20,000, that, whatever. But here's the problem. You got another $100 and something thousand worth of invoices that are going to be coming in because you've already written the purchase orders and you've already written the subcontracts, just that your vendor's a little late getting the bills to you. But this is kind of extraordinary because of the demo data, but this is probably happening in your company. You're probably going home, after the job's closed and you got a nice margin on it, and then a month later that margin's less, and a month later it's less, and the next month it's even lower. And so that's these invoices coming in. But with a committed cost report like this, if you keep it updated, you're going to know exactly where you're going to come in because you've got the forecasted of invoices that are going to be issued on to your company and somewhere in the future. So that's number one. Number two, everybody should be doing this, and everybody usually waits for their CPA to show up at the end of the year to do it. But that's our working process. Over and under billing report. It's called a couple of different things. As an example, let's just look quickly here. It's very simple. This very first line item, job number 12 here, $44,000 contract. I had $8,500 in cost this month. So your financial statements, if you don't do anything else, are going to show you for an $8,500 loss for that job because you haven't billed it yet. You didn't hit a milestone or whatever the case may be, but you have no billings and you have $8,500 worth of cost. You lost money. What this report will do, and it's not that difficult, is it basically says you're allowed to earn, 24%, okay? Because you've used 24% of the budget. Here's your estimate to complete. You've used 24%. You're entitled to 24% of your contract value, which is this amount right here. Anyway, real simple. It can be done in Excel. You just gotta have to update your total cost to date and your billings each month, and then update your forecast at completion. But what's happening now? This month you show an $8,500 loss, and you know what happens next month, right? You build a $10,000, don't have any cost. Now you have a $10,000 gain the next month. So you got these what I call the escalator ride, or roller coaster ride where you're going up and down, up and down. This kind of takes that out by making these calculations. Not that hard to do. Your accountant can help you with that, but that's a report that's going to really make those financials a lot more useful. So I'm going to close that. The next one I'm going to look at, and any cost report will be fine. This one is the one that we like. And what I want to look at is it's the whole job. I want to look at my contract. I want to look at my new contract with change orders. I want to look at each item of work that I identified, the budget that I identified, my budget that has my approved change orders in it. I want to know what I spent this month. I also want to know what I spent to date. And then this is very simple math, by the way. I look at the current budget or I look at the total cost. And I want to know which number is higher. First example, $1,000 budget, no cost. I project out the 1,000. Bad job here. I budgeted 2,900. I've spent 9,700. I'm moving the higher number over, and that's simple to do in Excel. Go through this, and what I do is I accumulate all these projections, and now I look at the bottom here and I go, wow, I got $94,000 worth of cost coming in, and wait a second, I only going to be able to bill 92,000. I got a $2,000 loss. At that point, I come up here and look at the detail, and this is a perfect example. Here's a line that I budgeted $300 for, and I already have $7,000 worth of cost. So I usually like to look at this as that's 22 times my budget. If that's the case, I got a big issue, and I need to figure that out. Now, you can do this in Excel, just like I said. If you had a software that's fully integrated, you can do something like that. And I just did a couple of clicks there, and I got right back to the actual invoice that was entered in the accounts payable, and I can see exactly what I bought. And now I know, wait a second, that's on the wrong line item. I need to move that, have somebody move that up to a different line item. But I can drill back to that cost. If you're using Excel and QuickBooks, you get up and go ask somebody in accounting and pull that invoice. What do we charge for that job? Go pull the invoice and you can take a look at it. So that's committed cost. That's these three right here. Now I'm going to look at something that subs ought to be doing, and this is very simple. I'm going to pull a job up here that I already have entered. Hang on a second. I find one that has some data. So these could be any of your items. These are the tasks that are being performed in the field. And so look at line 3 here as an example. When you put your original budget together, you figured you were going to spend, which is a weird number here, by the way, 59 hours to do that task, the plaster. So far through your payroll system, you charge that job and that item 36 hours. This just means you use 61%. That's just the 36 divided by the 58 systems doing that. Then you ask your guy in the field, hey, how are we doing on that job? And he goes, boss, we're not doing so good. We're only 45% complete on the quantities. When I put that in there, I now know I need 44 more hours to finish it, and I'm going to be 21 hours over budget. I'm 10 hours over budget here. And if I look at the bottom right-hand corner, I now know this job has now missed this budget by 38 hours. And it could get worse because we haven't even started on the other items yet. The bottom line here is I can have my field people just enter in the percent complete, and I know exactly how I'm doing on my job, which is important. And we can make corrections. The best thing is, if I'm an estimator and I'm going to bid a job similar to this, I can go see if my original production rates and whatever for that last job were accurate or not, because I can look right here and say, hey, I missed all of these items. What's the story? Let me go talk to the project manager. Maybe I need to lower my production rates for future work. So it keeps you from getting another bad job. So that's another one. This is my favorite. Not going to work for everybody, but I want to show it to you. Again, you can put anything in here. It could be installing diffusers. It could be installing electrical outlets. It could be running feet of duct work. It could be whatever. It doesn't make any difference. As long as you can have a physical measurement of it, you can do this. Again, line 3 here. Estimator said it was going to cost $37,000 to do this. When he did his quantity takeoff, there were 480. Again, we're just going to say this is 480 linear feet of sidewalk or something like that, or curb. Here's the cost that's come through with payroll and your AP. So you can obviously enter that in from your QuickBooks or Peachtree or whatever you're using. And I'm going to ask the guy in the field, how many of these do I have done? And he calls, at the end of the week, he says, puts on his time card, I've got 180 of those. I can now tell you that I budgeted $77 a unit. And wow, this job I'm actually doing it for the budget. I'm at $77.33. I'm going to miss the budget by a whopping $159, which is a good thing, right? But let's say he only has 140 of these done. Whoops, 140, a little bit. Now I'm missing my budget by $22 a unit. If I'm the estimator, I absolutely have to have that information before I bid another job like this. Now, it could be the project manager did something wrong, or there was circumstances that were beyond his control. But if this is something that's ongoing, that every time I have these items, I'm overrunning, then the estimator needs to make corrections in his estimate. So again, your budget, that's easy to put in Excel. Your units in Excel. Cost is just getting those numbers once a week from accounting, getting that from your field guy once a week and what's been completed to date. And all of these are calculations. Very simple to do. And it definitely will give you information to manage your current job and to make sure that you only bid successfully on future jobs. So those are my top ones. That's all I got. I wanted to do this in 10 minutes, and it is now 10 minutes. So my name's Dennis. If you have any questions, respond to the email. It's Dennis F, like in Frank, at cfosonthego.net, or easier way is just call me, and I love taking phone calls. 800-659-5851. So 800-659-5851. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.